to roll. A big day ahead in our Knoxville Regional. This is the matchup that you can't miss. The number 7 seed. And the lefty. And the lefty fouls it back. This is a program who has seen amazing success. Parisian was very familiar with her coach, Karen Kamar. She came over with her from Miami of Ohio, and continuing to do great things as everyone's talking about these Ohio State Buckeyes. On the 1-1, and it's now 1-2.
This has been the storyline, I think, for both you and I. Knowing we were headed to Knoxville was the opportunity for these two teams to go head-to-head.
On the 1-2, and Pickens picks up the first strikeout of the game as she's retiring Parisian, first batter she's faced.
You can talk all day long about the speed of Carlin Pickens in the circle, but in chatting with her this weekend, coming into this tournament, I had asked her, beyond speed, what is the part of you that makes you so deadly in the circle? And she talked about the changeup. It's the fact that she can pull the string, the contrast between the off-speed pitch that you saw the swing through against Parisian to lead off this inning, got the K with the off-speed, but it's that setting up against the 78 mile an hour. That's an NCAA record this year against Arkansas back in March. If you've been watching college softball, you know that name. You know the name Carlin Pickens. She has been the sweetheart in the circle, so dominant all year long.
And going against Jazzy Burns, the 0-2 pitch. And a player who has just lifted her game from her freshman year to now. The sophomore out of Menifee, California. Both of her hits yesterday, as we mentioned. Both solo shots going up, chasing, can't catch up to it. 2 Ks.
And this is a pitch, you know you're gonna see this pitch. Specifically a team that elevates the ball, that looks for that letter high strike. Pickens is gonna climb that ladder. She's gonna challenge you in the eyes. Gets the swing through against Burns, who went yard twice yesterday in game 1.
Kemi Quartercracks, who's searching for her first hit of the weekend, the senior out of Westerville, Ohio. Brings in a ton of experience to this Buckeye team. And Quartercracks lifts this one into center field. King games her 5.16 ERA. She's going to try to keep this Lady Vol offense at bay today. As we take a look at the Lady Vols starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. An 11-run inning helped to fuel that offensive reemergence, and Laura Mueller was one of 2 Lady Vols to have 4 RBI yesterday, hers coming by way of a grand slam. And they are led by Karen Weekly, a 4-time SEC Coach of the Year, making their 21st straight NCAA tournament appearance under her, one of the winningest coaches that are in the college softball landscape today. Lauren Boutte, the freshman, picking up her 20th win of the season. A player like Kennedy Kay has helped taking her under her wing. And again, 4 previous seasons at Miami of Ohio, great success. This is her 5th straight NCAA tournament appearance. This time she's donning an Ohio State uniform. Well, colors as Fiedler is able to hit it into the right center gap, and Kinsley Fiedler leads it off for the Lady Vols with a stand-up double.
A lot of patience at the plate and patience with timing. This is a ball that's out and away at bat, and the fact that she's able to see this pitch deep, she's not out in front. It's a 55-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. Doesn't get the hands out in front of the stance. I mean, that is patient leadoff approach.
Well, one of the question marks, and I think you alluded to it, this Karen Weekly just said her players were just tired of hearing about all the outs-out noise of where the offense was for Tennessee. They were averaging better than 6 runs a game going into the last 8 games of the season. She says everybody in our clubhouse was well aware of what our offense could do. And they came out throwing punches yesterday, and now you see Kenzie Fiedler continuing on with that. And you saw that quick change from Kiran Kumar, a defensive swap with infielders up the middle.
Yeah, you see Farley now standing at third base. Buick standing at second. We saw that change happen yesterday in day 1. It's a situational shift for this team. I think the wild thing, though, is yesterday we all learned a little something new. I had assumed this was just a situational shift, right? No need for there to be a report to the umpire. But they actually were called for a lack of a substitution, a lack of communicating that defensive change. An out was erased off the board. We were pulled back to home plate. And an inning resumed. And I had a chance to talk with some of our umpires in charge. Called our girl Vicky earlier today, Van Cleek. And
what's going on?
What's up, girl? And I got the whole rundown. If it is a clean swap, it does require a report to home plate.
Savia Morgan back to Kennedy Kay, who throws it over to first. And doing her job well is Savia Morgan. And now Fiedler 60 feet from home.
So, you know, the conversation you and I were having yesterday was, we at times see that defensive shift just like against Savia Morgan, a speedster from the left side. Sometimes you'll see the center fielder come in to stand on the dirt. You're the 5th infielder, but the fact that there would be a position open in that specific shift is why it is called a shift. But when you see 2 defenders simply swap spots, that does require a defensive change at home plate.
And now you saw Kumar go back out, so they swapped back. Farley at second, and Buick returns to third. Here's Taylor Panel, and Panel, the third baseman, who is having an excellent year, first team All-SEC selection. 0 for 2 yesterday, had a couple of walks. This team awarded 9 walks yesterday to help fuel that offense, and Panel sends this one into right field and deep enough for Fiedler to tag up, and she's safe. First run on the board, RBI, sac fly for Taylor Panel.
Home run leader for this team, and frankly the leader at large for Tennessee's offense. The latter half of this season has been Taylor Panel, a redshirt sophomore, was derailed with injury early in her career and has buckled in her sophomore season in a massive way during this postseason run. And that is fundamental softball, to know that you need to go opposite field behind a runner to score that run is big time.
And first pitch swinging, Sophia Nugent, left field. And they're gonna say it went foul, as Lady Vols fans were ready to cheer on home. And Nugent, who continues to bring the power. She had a 2-run shot yesterday to go along with a double, and just,
wow.
Wow, that's
from our vantage point, that looks pretty darn good.
Long and deep foul ball now, 0-2 to Nugent. Part of that incredible battery, Carlin Pickens, Sophia Nugent, a great relationship that they've developed. And Nugent, who's a strong offensive threat as well, grounds out to second base, and that ends the inning. But it's Tennessee striking on the board first. We've got a 1-0 lead. And for Carly Spade, one of the best power hitters all time.
She was really that girl.
College softball world.
She was that girl.
Yeah.
She was the real deal.
And 3 career home runs. Are you kidding? In her career. I said, well, do you still keep up? Do you still talk? It's like, yeah, you know, we're cool. We chat a little bit. That's my girl. But this weekend, obviously, it's a little different. And folks, just so you are aware, this is what Carly Spade did in her time at Miami of Ohio. 250 RBI. We talked about the home run numbers. Nearly 400 career batting average. Unbelievable stuff. So now she's in her Lady Vol orange, looking on Reagan Milliken, who she played with last year. Down the count, 1-2. The pitch, and just over the head of the second baseman, Ella Dodge, and a leadoff base hit for Milliken. She had a leadoff home run yesterday back in the second to get the Buckeyes on the board, and here in the second, she leads it off with a single.
You saw Veerstra, Courtney Veerstra, the assistant coach, standing in the dugout. This is also her first year coming over with 2K, and not only did she coach with 2K at Miami, but actually played for 2K at Miami, wanted to be a teacher after graduating, and Karen Kumar talked her to join in this staff, said that she just continued to get better every single year in a jersey. And not everybody has the ability to teach this game after living it, but Courtney Veerstra had the knack to be a coach.
A tremendous asset that she has been to this program as Caitlin Farley, the second baseman, back to Pickens. Good defense there, flips it over, and one away.
We had a lot of fun talking to Ohio State. I think you and I know how to have a good time no matter who's sitting across from us. But there was just something really special about this Ohio State team, their connection with this coaching staff. Their trust in Karen Kumar was so apparent from the first time we sat down to dive in to some questions. I mean, again, stepping in, first-year head coach here at Ohio State, and specifically Cami Quartercracks in the 3-hole for Ohio State said, you just can't not believe in this head coach because she believes in herself. What this squad has done this year has been pretty impressive.
Well, the turnaround's so impressive. So we talked about the limited innings for Kennedy K in the circle. 3 returning starters, among them Cami Quartercracks. They finished 11th in the Big Ten last year. Kumar comes in. They're on the verge of finishing 3rd. They come up 4th spot. But they also took on this why not us type of mentality. So they've stayed true to the process, trusted their head coach Karen Kumar, and great things continuing to happen.
It's been all season long too, a 40+ win season for this squad. Part of the Big Ten record of sending 8 teams to the NCAA tournament this season.
When you think about those wins, I mean, that's 4th best in program history and the most that they've won as a program since 2009. Pickens steps back in, and the payoff pitch to Sammy Buick. Buick fouls it off. Sophomore out of McMurray, PA.
And then you get into the offensive stats of this team that are just eye-popping. They lead the nation. Total runs scored, home runs, RBIs. But 2K was quick to interrupt me after me stroking the ego of the pop at the plate. She said, but also I want you to know we lead the nation in walks too. Don't forget that. I mean, check that out. It is a clean sweep at the top of the NCAA categories for this squad. Very impressive numbers.
And Buick, a good AB here, battling with Pickens. And again, if you're just tuning in, and why is this such a fun matchup? Well, you think Ohio State hitters have had 20 home runs in the last 8 games. Tennessee's staff overall has only given up 20 home runs this year.
All year.
And great at bat there for Sammy Buick. The 1-out walk, so now 2 on here for the Buckeyes.
You know, it's interesting, not that Carlin Pickens has needed it yet, but we talked about the fact that the changeup is kind of that secret weapon that makes her speed so dominant. And I did a little digging. 5 home runs that Carlin Pickens has given up all year, not a single one of those off of an off-speed pitch. And that's the nature of speed, right? You throw some heat into the plate. If you're going to make contact, it's liable to go somewhere. We really haven't seen Pickens go to the changeup yet. Now, granted, early in this game, I'll be interested to see if there's some adjustments made from Ohio State if Pickens starts to go more to that off-speed.
Morgan Fry, first pitch swinging, and the double play. Pickens loving it. Great job from panel. So the 5 for Tennessee, and we saw some upsets and surprises yesterday. North Florida, their first time ever in an NCAA tournament. They upset Virginia 2-1. And of course, Southeastern Louisiana, that was a big one. They had faced off against LSU. Went to extras earlier in the season. But a 4-3 decision there. Then we also saw a number of games ending in the run rule variety, 14 in total, the most in a regional opener since the current format switched over to Supers in 2005 as a leadoff base hit here in the bottom of the second for McKenna Gibson.
We also saw the no-hitter run rule that A&M had against St. Francis. 18 runs scored in that ball game, plus a no-hitter. My goodness, what a day one.
What?
Wow.
Day one. So that's only setting up for an incredible day 2, and a lot of fun matchups around. I think Texas, Michigan is one that I'm keeping my eye on. Georgia and Duke, a very tough Liberty team taking on the #1 overall seed, Texas A&M.
Liberty Bibberty? I could not. I had to. Those commercials are too good.
They are. Laura Mueller, you hear chants of her name here in Sherry Parker Lee Stadium, and boy, she was dynamic yesterday. And yeah, let's take you back to this grand salami.
The power that we saw on display yesterday from all 3 teams. Already hard enough to take the ball out of this yard. It's big field, plays large, 220 dead center. But the fact that Mueller could get a ball out of here outside of her power alley.
And I love how you also told the story, Aaron, just about Mueller, who started her career at Middle Tennessee, and then last year, her first season with the Lady Vols, was still trying to kind of find her way, and how she fit in this program, one of the perennial powers in college softball, 8 Women's College World Series, bye in the tournament to Arkansas. It was their highest seed in the tournament at #4. But when you look over the body of work of this Tennessee team, is trying to get back to the Women's College World Series the first time since 2023. And an emphatic start to this weekend.
Back to that freshman conversation too, in our in-game interview with Karen Weekly yesterday, she mentioned the term fearless, specifically around the freshmen that are in this 1 through 9, the impact they've had this season on this squad.
Well, the 3-1 pitch lifts it high into left field. Underneath it is Hadley Parisian. 2 away.
Earlier this season, I had a chance to do the Tennessee-Mississippi State matchup, and she talked about this term, woe than go. I would rather the aggressiveness of this freshman class pull the trigger and me have to pull in the reins than continue to try and ask for effort. And this freshman class for Tennessee embodies that. I'd rather have woe than go.
Woe than go. I love all the things that coaches come up with because they've got to be original, and sometimes they recycle information too, but it's a great way to describe our freshman class. Gabby Leach coming in from the left side, and of course Karen Weekly has coached her other siblings, including her sister Alana, who's on the team, but Kelsey and Aubrey as well. Some great Lady Vols.
Starting to see Kennedy K in the circle mix a little bit more off speed, a 54 mile an hour curve there compared to the 65 mile an hour screw rise.
She's ahead of the count. The 0-2 pitch is high for ball 1. Leach sends this one into center field, and that ends the inning. So the leadoff single stranded. Tennessee still up 1-0.